openings for the team as they're going to try to get the entries or the retakes within this this map of Haven. On the side of Blue Water, though, one thing that they did very well against YDZ a couple of days ago was just how well they were able to abuse middle in the very beginning of these rounds on the defensive side, but also when it comes down to their attack side, Sia just did a great job sticking with the team, and there wasn't too many lurk that we saw, or alerts that we saw coming out from Blue Water. So that might be something that FlyQuest have learned from that type of play style that they can maybe abuse once they take over the defensive side themselves.
Before we get into the map, I just want to shout out the hype squad that is here supporting FlyQuest and Blue Water, all our co-streamers, our watch party. Shout out to you and for supporting this incredible scene. It's our last day of Swiss. We got 2 spots left, 2 matches. We're going to kick things off with FlyQuest on the attack. A lot of ghosts and a lot of mid watching right now, but look at this lurk. Thea, I've never really seen her in this solo scenario where she's going to go for a big play, and hanging back here is Bob, maybe expecting sort of some defensive aggression from Blue Water, because that's been trending for them.
Disappear.
Just leave those gaps and FlyQuest will exploit it, and that means Kobe as is just going to get quartered. Thea is just on janitor duty. They have just won this site now for free for FlyQuest.
2 bullets used, 2 headshots given, and now already Blue Water's on the rotate to try to fight back, though.
One enemy
There's, oh, what a beautiful fault line, too, from Ev. It just feels so clinical. Another day at the office for FlyQuest, and Blue Water just kind of exposing these vulnerabilities early, giving FlyQuest some early momentum, and at that, a flawless.
Taking 0 damage across the board, too. So a lot of investment was done around utility, and it even looked like they didn't have to use too much of that either when it came down to what FlyQuest was using. Maybe there was that first cross from Thea, but even Ev, the only thing they did was throw out a fault line, and they got great value for the team to even hold that pulse plant in the end. So I think it came down to that. We just talked about it. The tape that you can get on certain teams by playing 2 days ago. We talked about how Blue Water loves to take the control on middle with how May and Oasis set up themselves at the beginning of that spot, and they left that gap on sewers. Now they're finally covering that gap, but they're playing that on an eco with only pistols.
Yeah, Kobe going to be in charge of A short, and reminder, you got the coaches involved here. Coach Joe, so well known in this scene, and Tora for the Blue Otter side. There's only 2 days between their last matches, and it's quite the grind, and this is the last chance. So many matches, so much tape available. FlyQuest, though, do have garage control. Oasis is going to try to block some of this. Need some recruitment, some help over in window, and FlyQuest are going to disengage.
Especially when they hear the double tap as well after the undercut, so they probably initiate the engagement down towards that middle instead, and now you have players walking into their crosshair. It becomes an easy kill for Thea. And while there was no pressure coming in from the A side, FlyQuest now has a read that you're playing soft side on A side. You're forced to play the retake, especially with that recon that clears out the whole site. This should be a clean second round now for FlyQuest as well.
Especially with that ping that Blue Water are right at the door, so FlyQuest have to be at the ready. No flanks to worry about with those trips, so same thing with FlyQuest, except they don't have a fault line this time. It'll just be 2 flashes, which should be more than enough. You've left that top window open. Someone's on that. Like, FlyQuest are so well drilled. And, of course, on this anti-eco, the thing would be how many weapons can you bring over? Blue Water looks like they're not too pressed on adding any pressure to this, so they'll just go down with the ship.
Yeah, and especially when it comes down to Kobe dying first here in these fights, you can't really do any flash recon to get good value, and if you're trying to take some opponents out with the combinations that you may have in the flood. No undercut available because they thought there was going to be a push from FlyQuest on that C side, so they tried to stall it. So I was chuckling a little bit at the beginning of the round because I saw that Aluvali was setting up here and looking at pixel areas down towards that grass to throw the camera into garage. And that's basically a camera that Bob tweeted out a couple of days ago or even a week ago, just to give a chance for a Cypher to throw a camera into the garage and get full vision of that without exposing any players on the outside, on the other side. That gives you a chance to get first round of information. So something that Bob, as this Silva, has taught over to her Senti teammates and allows for them to get that early garage control.
Like I said before, FlyQuest have very set roles, while Blue Water are a floated different duelists. And Kobe, if it's not Chamber, it's the Yoru, and Korra have to go up against 2 duelists and on the attack. iQuest gonna get pinged and trips. Something they have to, some hoops they gotta jump over, and Blue Water already pressing the advantage that they have off the information, but even the share of shots from Aluvli are clean. FlyQuest hold their ground. It's their half, but Cora looks away. No, that's not a friend, that's an enemy. And Blue Water have stepped up and retaken the site while FlyQuest head elsewhere.
Yeah, Bob's just gonna rotates, but gets picked off easily by Oasis. So the good news, though, at least, was we have this ping towards the A-link, so they do have maybe some sort of inkling that you do have a lurk and a push and space taken here, and it is taken by Aluvli so far, watching to rotate from the spawn. All of them trying to work together in tandem now, or both of them trying to work in tandem to hold this pulse plan on their bonus.
Trying to get forward. Is going to make connection on the fault line, but Aluvli just the timing a bit off. The fault line didn't make a connection yet. And now it's Dev in a 1 versus 3. We'll catch Kobe off guard, but with the Stinger, there probably wasn't going to be enough bullets. So Blue Water really realizing when they don't have as much util running the double duelist, they really got to bring the fire to the fire. And Kobe had such a great splash. No, and overall, a great engagement to take over C.
Yeah, Luvli just felt like she had to make a play. And I don't think it was the right play, to be honest with you, because you saw what Ev was doing. They threw the aftershock to try to delay and prevent the push coming out from the spawn. Nobody knew the position from Aluvli yet, so Aluvli could still play on the top of heaven, play that window as Ev is falling back, and now you could set up a crossfire from bottom site and top window. When that potentially will not be checked by the side of Blue Water, as they would triple flood back from the spawn side instead of heaven from the position and the rotates they were coming from. So again, understandable that you're trying to make a hero play because it's a 2 versus 3 and you're on a bonus round, but I think you might have better chances to even make it more expensive for Blue Water within that last round.
And FlyQuest brought most of their weapons into the bonus, so this is easy for Cora. I like that she's taking this one step at a time, not wanting to dash in too deep. Be more aware of those trips and the different setups that Blue Water can bring to the table. You're seeing that they want to be more preventative, and FlyQuest already adapted. Great explosive play from Cora, and the rest of the round will feel easy.
It was really the supporting cast, actually, because you had a lineup to break the shock dart at the front site, so she doesn't get hit by that, and then the beautiful paranoia thrown by Thea blended both players by Radio Night bots. So that's 2 free kills for Cora, an open site, and the retake's going to be impossible. The only one that's going to stay behind now is Kobe, because they invested into this Bucky, not the biggest investment, so they could try to get a pick, maybe escape here if they can with the weapon, but that recon dart's going to ping them out. And that's a round for FlyQuest, and the other 2 players will save their weapons for the next round, being Lover and May. I love that at least. Picking up a rifle, TPing out, and that's a weapon carried into the next round.
Well, I was nervous about if they could get any picks from there, but I mean, Blue Water know this is about playing the long game. This is a marathon, so going down early like this, saving as many weapons as they can, not even trying in a 3 versus 5. You got to respect it. They really don't want to lose out on economy, because if FlyQuest get on a win streak, it is really hard to stop that pain train.
Thing is that Blue Water probably will have to start
cutting through,
mixing up their positioning in their spots at the beginning of these rounds, because so far a lot of them for the past couple of rounds is a lot of B control in the very beginning, and then you're already seeing FlyQuest going always on extremities, and they're just going for flood XX, flood XX, flood XX, and playing soft side on C seems to be easy to do right now when you're just able to break all that util. What I love at least this time is that Sia is saving her camera for the retake with the team. So she's not popping up yet, and she just did as I said that. That could have been a big piece that they could utilize here to figure out where they could throw their util to start retaking the site. This is going to be even more difficult now.
Yeah, just really only needing that recon to get into sight. FlyQuest already know where the trips are, but wait, the undercut making contact, and May at least gets one for their troubles. Blue Water poking and prodding at all the angles that they can. The flash comes out, and it's not enough to support Kobe and the retake attempt, so FlyQuest continue to find success at C.
Yeah, and even the flash was only used to flash out towards blocks instead of bouncing it out in the open, where that potentially would have definitely hit Thea and maybe give it a chance for Colby to win that fight. But even if Thea falls, the rest of the supporting cast is already there for FlyQuest, playing long range, off site, and making sure here that they could delay these smokes on the side of Blue Water and not get any real value for them to really enter back into the site. So all very nicely done. FlyQuest are just going to continue to spam this because they're realizing that it's easy for them to take. Now you have a full eco for Blue Water. You're just going to try it again. If you run into a stack, well, hopefully your weapons are going to be better to play against the pistols on the side of Blue Water. And it definitely seems that that's going to be the story that we have within this round. There's already 4 players getting ready to stack up and fight at this spot.
Let's do or die. Hopefully with the lineups, it'll be just easier for Blue Water with the sheriffs. Now you just hope to cut off Cora within the smoke. Now it's more difficult to discover, and it just doesn't matter. Cora is good for 2, and Blue Water down bad. And if at least they try all these alternate routes. Now going through garage and the top of site. What I like about FlyQuest is they got a trip, right? Probably within that cage. At least Lover will take that down, but gonna actually try to push this?
Yeah, you're on an eco, so try to do the damage if you can. You're already seeing that a lot of them are at their big ults already, so might as well try to go for that double swing and that pickoff, and maybe hopefully take Bob down in the process.
Wow. Even when Kobe had a nice flash out towards logs, FlyQuest were still quicker to the trigger. It did cost some bodies though, but not a big investment into that round for FlyQuest when it comes to ults. So they can keep this going, and Blue Water, it's now a nice time to take a timeout.
Yeah, exactly. You have ults on your side too. Colby could do something with their dimensional drift. But right now you have to think about how FlyQuest might be able to spam with the Rolling Thunder for a post plant. Because so far, FlyQuest has been given C-Site so easily that I don't think that Ev feels that they need to leverage a Rolling Thunder within this round. But after a timeout, this might be a, hey, let's try to bring it back towards this A site. We're going to get a lot of real value with and real estate with a Rolling Thunder from a breach, from long A into the site, and just have your jet dash into that spot. If anything, they're just going to keep being explosive on these fights because they are disrespecting the fact that Blue Water are not playing for this extremity control for all of these rounds.
May's having a slower start, but they have been so good on openers. Usually in that 13-5 against YDZ, like May was a huge part of that success. The 3 first kills, 4 first deaths, like you live and die by the May, and this ISO Yoru setup has to deliver those big kills when you're missing out on initiator or another smoke or just something else to get re-entries into the site. So that's been the difficult part for Blue Water. So they're trying to be more on prevention duty, switching up the trips, but a lot of weight is on the shoulders of Sia to buy the time that she can.
And I'm liking this. She's even placing trips in the back of the site. So knowing here that when you're playing soft on the A site, FlyQuest are actually adding a lot of bodies into the back to add that pressure. So if it's getting smoked off, she could maybe get a trip kill through the attacking smoke, and then maybe help the team go for that retake in the end. But so far, you're just breaking the drone early, and I think the drone even spotted the jump spot coming out from May. So to decide otherwise for FlyQuest, they give up this A site. But it definitely looks from the positioning here from Blue Water's side that they're looking to play that retake potential with Kobe's ult.
I think the FlyQuest are switching it up, yeah, because when you notice that Blue Water were more front and center than they usually are when the drone gets popped that early, you don't want to get your head popped too. So FlyQuest for the first time are going to take the time to work the map, but this trip is going to be broken, and I would imagine it's a Louvely that'll be on anchor watch. Now that gets popped. Louvely, attention. To guard the backs of FlyQuest will have an open sight, but Blue Water also rotating 2 through B, but they'll have to work their way through a smoke. FlyQuest gonna realize just how easy the day may be. Here comes Blue Water.
Here.
Some initial pings, and the decloak is so unlucky. Thinking maybe you could have decloaked at a safer spot. The timer ran out. The stress mounting for Blue Water. One of their aces out of their sleeve. FlyQuest now with no control over Heaven. The aftershock to keep Blue Otter suppressed. Cora, the tip of the spear within. They're actually using the close smoke against Blue Water. What is this? The retake successful for Blue Water. All to the hands of Lover and friends. And Diffuse comes in just on time too.
I didn't like that. Everything was looking to perfection for FlyQuest. As I mentioned before, when you're playing so soft within these sites, you notice here that you don't have to use a Rolling Thunder to execute, so you could actually use it for the pulse plant. So if you're already taking down Kobe in the very first place on that flank, winning a dimensional drift where Kobe was counting on their clone to maybe hopefully blind Aluvali, they get picked off, and FlyQuest should have all the information that nobody followed behind a dimensional drift. The flood retake should be happening for the spawn site, Heaven. You had delays with the aftershock, but where's that rolling thunder? Back into the spawn to delay it even more, to keep the time into your favor. Give a chance here for FlyQuest to set up. And then suddenly you have Blue Water just running out and picking them like quite easily for the run back within the site. And nobody was ready for FlyQuest to trade after that. And you're calling an immediate timeout for sure. Just to make sure that you're cleaning up your act a little bit more in these pulse plant scenarios, especially when you already had such a great start on your attack side.
And I think it could be just about who is making that decision. Do you trust Ev enough to just make that call on the fly? Is there a leader on FlyQuest who's kind of deciding what ults are being used and when? These are all very vocal players with different levels of experiences. So maybe wires got crossed. That moment of hesitation really costed FlyQuest because Blue Water jumped in very fast and really overwhelmed FlyQuest. And even when I thought Korra had a great timing on the swing out of Oasis's close smoke, like Korra was immediately spotted. So Blue Water really adapting and overcoming what seemed to be an impenetrable post plan.
Especially when I had flashes to work with. They lost Kobe in the back, so it shouldn't have been that easy for Blue Water to retake that A site from that spot, which is why it's a little bit questionable to see how they weren't able to hold that towards the end for FlyQuest. But at least we get to reset. That timeout's going to allow for them to work in unison, to work towards the C site one more time. Camera gets broken up. Rolling Thunder is still available. Recon Dart for Bob could be thrown towards that back of the site, so maybe they don't have to use a Rolling Thunder right away, especially now that it pings nothing. So they can walk in. They know it's a retake play again for Blue Water. You're trying to bait out the Hunter's Fury potentially. Yeah, so there's that tap.
More in a lurk scenario. So like you're not gonna have those cages at the back site now that their smokes are gone. They were going for paranoia and have been spotted. Now Blue Water will go unhindered. There's that Rolling Thunder. We'll send Blue Water packing, but that's just a delay. Hunter's Fury on the defense. Core's trying to cancel it, and that is an ego play. Blue Water now have exposed everything, and there is no one left on this post plant. What a Hunter's Fury from Lover.
And Blue Water seemed like they just knew that FlyQuest is going to try to go for a flood with the Rolling Thunder to push out towards that spawn. Look how passively they played in the back of that C connector. They fell back towards that spawn. You left your Lover out in the open to bait out the push from the window, and Kobe got so much value out of that flash to not allow Korra to deny the Hunter's Fury. The rest was history because Blue Water, again, had one of those moments where they could just win aim duels with the retake into the site, not even needing to set foot into the site before winning all of their duels against FlyQuest. And
stay safe.
That will change things around now for the pace of the game, because Blue Water now has a chance to really come back in this one, as FlyQuest are having a hard time holding their pulse plants after.
Oh, Hunter's Fury. Kobe still finds the shot that rings true, and Blue Water have their duelist on the crossfire. FlyQuest better look both ways, and it looks like Blue Water are just happy to give him the space, thinking the op would be nicer at range, but it does get smoked off, and Blue Water okay, waiting for that to expire, because that was their way to work their way back in.
Yeah, I've got lucky on that one when they didn't get shot by the op of Kobe. So now you ult for information, and then you see that the one's in a drone. Easy lurk up for Aluvali to get this thing.
Enemy remaining.
Oh, beautiful from Aluvali. Being able to get active around the map is going to get Blue Water worried about who's behind them. And we didn't see it. We didn't see it. We didn't see it. We didn't see it. Actually, you know, the whole stream broke. I'm so sorry. But Kobe would like to keep this up. Fault line will confirm that for Ev, and FlyQuest are back on their high horse.
And then I'll take it for the attack side. So FlyQuest wants to continue to leverage both initiators with the paranoia so that Korra is able to move in the way that she does. She's getting some beautiful impact frags and entries for the team, and allows for FlyQuest to get so much space in these post-plant scenarios. And this time, I love what happened there. It allows, once they're utilizing great utility to figure out where their opponents are at, it seems that they're able to move around the map a little bit more easily and take control of the base in these post-plant scenarios. It took an ult from Thea to get that activation from Aluvali, but now hopefully as you don't have big ults to work with, things could change.
Uh-oh, now you're worried about where Korra can be, and that's a good timing on the teleport. Don't want to take any unnecessary risks. And look, that teleport's even in place again. Kobe's gonna wait for that smoke to go down as Blue Otter generate a flank for the first time while having garage control. Looks like FlyQuest are not gonna waste any time off the drone, thinking they have an opening. It went unshot, unchecked, and Oasis had a good time coming up from mid, and now the stacks are all there. Blue Water will collect and pass go. And this is becoming a tighter game than we expected.
And Oasis is even able to stay alive as they came out from the not dead yet to be able to get that last pick. It almost worked out in their favor here for FlyQuest, but another one of those stories where Util is coming through. They're trying to suppress and push back an early flood retake from Blue Water. Just unfortunately not really there to... I mean, they got the first picks, which were kind of nice, but then they tried to fall back instead and started to get shot here in the back from that big flank coming out from May. And that's also the name of the game, where FlyQuest had a couple of lurks here and there, but once you're taking mid-round control and realizing that there's no lurk from Aluvali, then you could turn it around in your favor here for Blue Water, and May's able to get a beautiful backstab.
Fault line into deep A, and Thea gets checked. At least will go for one, and FlyQuest just can't stop Oasis. But Cora finds their way behind. It's a good backstab, and Evs left to fend for themselves, and it's the ace! The iBUYPOWER ace for Oasis.
Last round in the half.
And Oasis looks like they were struggling to shoot that camera, but no need to. Just keep looking at it, smile, and then just smile as you take everybody else down from FlyQuest when this cage came down. So it's quite nice. This changes everything right now. Such a dominant start that we had from FlyQuest, but now the tides have turned. Blue Water's starting to build up the confidence here that was needed. And that was needed for a lot of these players outside of Kobe, because Kobe's trying to play this op with the operator. You know how good Kobe's been with the op 2 days ago when they were playing Chamber for this team. Rare misses coming out, but not this time.
Kobe won't miss those twice, and that's opposition. They'll have to re-clear, and teleporting back. Kind of the same scenario, and just in case anybody else were to try and follow up, Kobe's back in a safe position now with the dimensional drift. Lover still has a drone, so they're going to maybe head further back to have some safe space to use this.
Cover going out.
I'd like to see us try to play the contact, but instead the smoke just gives the position away. I was going to say, try to move up, try to get Ev into an orb, but plant something so you get the Rolling Thunder and the Pulse plant, but it looks like they want to focus up on Thea to get the plant down and insert. There we go. There is that plant. But Ev's now going to have to be stuck to play towards default box, and hopefully they get a pick out of this. If they could escape down towards sewers after a pick, that might be a win con here for Fly.
Alright, lurking around. Kobe has to choose their moment carefully, and I like this one with using the Oasis smoke is so smart. Now Oasis wants to do even more work without them, and I guess Goomba Stomping Bob is hilarious. Does not get the kill, but Blue Water will end this half 6-6. After how this started, this is quite the comeback.
And you saw the same scenario when Blue Water is able to get the information that they need. Now you can have utilized to now you can have utility rather to combo to start retaking that site. So Kobe now finally moves in to find the info for the team instead of being the flanker. Realizes that Ev is still being stuck, played towards that default box at that plant. So an undercut and a shock dart immediately takes them down, and they're not able to leverage the Rolling Thunder to lay even more. So very, very nice half done up by Blue Otter to come back from what could have been such a huge deficit because of how good FlyQuest have been operating here on these side execs. And look at that. It's 4 diffuses that they were able to combine on their side since that timeout hauled out by Blue Water out of the, what, 5 plants that we saw?
Them hard. Over there.
Yeah. FlyQuest had that flawless pistol. Came in with a game plan and knew how to execute it. But this is a different beast now that they're facing. Blue Water not only found confidence, but found their shot too. They're shooting their shot too. Oasis did not know they had that dog in them. I am so impressed. And now Blue Water get to be on their best side, on their best behavior on the offense. This is now the aggression that they can pick up, the double duelist that we can see flourish, and Kobe's not going to get any luck solo today.
There's a solo lurk up too, a 1v1 at that spot. Now Fly has good info of the rotate back towards the A side, so they want to try to take mid control first, and then have some players slowly rotate here towards this A site. Very nice movement coming out from the defensive side. They still have Camera and Chirp watching towards the C site long. They're in a good spot here. Not necessarily to stall, but to have a fast retake for the team.
You're just hearing that exec from Blue Water, so already see some Heaven control. FlyQuest sending the whole gang up there too, and using the clove smokes against them. Lover will throw out their recon, and it doesn't look like FlyQuest have too much of an impact. It is 3 versus 4, favor of FlyQuest, and yeah, some good kills from Thea. Just one left. Oasis dodging the paranoia. Unfortunately, is blinded near side. It does what they can, and Thea's a big playmaker today.
4 pistol rounds, 100%. Almost lost that one for the side of FlyQuest because she was still stuck in Omen form to try to get the smoke out for the retake for FlyQuest as the double players pushed out towards that spawn. Thankfully, nobody checked that corner of where that KJ usually places the lockdown. They were so focused to fight back towards that spawn that Thea's able to get out of that scenario and then pick up those 2 kills in the end. And that was May pushing forward, and they got picked off. A big piss round being won by FlyQuest to really get their confidence back for the start of the second half.
And Thea's been this young player that has learned so much from other veterans in the scene and is now, I think, in that conversation, not even just now, but has really grown to be a top player and finds themselves on a top team. So it speaks to the talent that not only Thea, but the whole team has to, with their hopes, try to get to the main event, which obviously has been a bumpy road considering FlyQuest is in the last round, last match scenario. But this has been a fluid roster that have had pieces come in and out depending on life situations. So now with the stable core, they're hoping to give it their best shot. And I think winning both pistols bodes well to have the advantage go back in FlyQuest's favor.
Thing is, you have to think of it from Blue Water's side as well. They lost pistol, and they didn't lose bonus, but it made it very expensive here for FlyQuest, and then they were still able to make it a 6-6. So if this scenario repeats, especially as you mentioned before, how good they've been playing on the attack side with what we've witnessed, how they executed with Sia as part of the pack against YDZ, they still have a good chance here to win this map, but at least also keep this game close between FlyQuest, who had a great start at the very beginning.
And there's so much talent on both squads. I really hate to say goodbye to any of the teams that we have today. Reminder to everyone, it's elimination/promotion day, I guess, to go to the main event. So both good and bad. And this is the last stage of Game Changers too. So then, you know, there's other tournaments, there's fun havers and other community things, challengers, if people are qualifying for that these days. And I think even teams like SRG.
Yeah. You want to go to Korea.
Oh,
you
Radiant Academies too, yeah.
Yeah, but you definitely want to try to make it to Korea for either of these teams here for the finals for Game Changers champs.
Ooh, the judge does work, and it's the executioner too. Oh my god, Lover wanted some too. I'm surprised everyone's challenging this. Aluvli almost got away with the ace, but the judge ranged supreme here in Garage.
Yeah, great denial. Now you have a weapon coming in or a gun round for the side of Blue Water. As you're looking at the state of the game, though, going into their eco rounds or whatnot, they weren't really trying to orb max and min max, making sure that they could start carrying and snowballing ults on their side. And they haven't done enough damage here against FlyQuest, so FlyQuest could still carry some very strong weapons into this round. Thankfully, though, full shields for across the board for Blue Water, which will allow for them to survive a shot out of Bob, who's currently playing this solo on the A site. So as she finds contact, they'll play stall as much as they can with Ev. And then she could fall back. They could try to set up and then still play rifles versus rifles from Thea and Korra.
And the judge. Can't forget the judge. Kobe trying to get up close and personal. Using the teleports where they can. Be finding themselves beside May to try and close the door where FlyQuest are currently being taken from. Bob, though, is going to set things up. It's taken a while for the plan to develop, though. But Ev knows there's some trouble afoot, actually below them. For aftershocks, fault lines, flashes. This is going to be a Hail Mary for FlyQuest, letting every second tick down. Now that kind of FlyQuest are operating blind, Core has to make entry and get the attention, and there was the paranoia as the fault lions in. You got the daggers in the backs of Blue Water, but Oasis back in the corner. 3K to turn this back in Blue Water's corner.
And just unfortunate on the 1v1. Lover held on to that recon dart and just waited for that to come up as soon as possible so they could use it, and it does get the ping onto Thea on the 1v1. It looked so good as soon as Cora engaged into the dash inside her own smoke, so she got a lot of information of where two players were at, and FlyQuest started really finding some great value in kills behind the smokes that he threw on that flood retake. And then again, when it comes down to that 1v1, Lover is able to save that here for Blue Water and not allow here for FlyQuest to convert a bonus round on their side.
Oasis is on a roll today. Woo. Look at this. Now the ISO util. Oh, through the double tap, through the fire and the flames. Core does not care, but the other side goes unchecked, and Blue Water kind of dig themselves out of a hole. Blue Water still trying to plant, though, through B main. There is some trouble afoot, and the crossfire set up, but with only 2 people left, somebody's got to plant. No, you do it. No, you do it. But there is going to be trouble on multiple angles the more that they wait. Fake teleport from Thea, and away Kobe falls for it. Lover at least can trade, but where's the last player? Sova versus Sova.
Bob way too long to rotate across. Now Lover has a window to reposition before. Oh! Crosshair placed towards the end for Bob to be able to win it. I was just, again, trying to mention they were doing such a good job here. Speaking of Thea, staying inside Bunny, keeping those players at bay, running that clock down to give a chance here for Bob to start rotating across and getting the backstab towards the end. It was another one of those scenarios where potentially Lover could have won another 1v1, but thankfully Bob was able to insert herself in a better angle. And Lover walked right into that. FlyQuest able to break the economy on the side of Blue Water. We're now forced on only 1 stinger and some pistols, and they had some sort of rush earlier on, some sort of tempo inside the B site. And that might be the place that they want to finish again on the lower buy here on Haven.
Now on a full Saints. Oh, you got a stinger. I'd like to see what Kobe can do, and with the deadly duo of May, they're gonna make as much noise as they can at A. Really sell this fake.
Only keeps 1, but nobody else is moving out here for Blue Water. So as you stay patient for FlyQuest, again, better weapons. You have players walk into the crosshair. This should be a free kill for Bob, but May is able to jiggle away from it.
Okay, keep them humble, keep them occupied, but
I must
now
wait
it's
a
the
moment.
camera that gets shots from FlyQuest, so they gotta race over. Even FlyQuest aren't fully sure where the commitment is.
I mean, camera breaks, you put a smoke in front of it, so that's going to stall Blue Water and make them think otherwise of trying to push up towards the C site for a plant. So they pivot back towards A, but because of the trips that are still up here on C and B, you can keep these 3 players alive inside this A site for FlyQuest. Retake's going to be the take's going to be difficult for Blue Water here.
Cora watching both sides, and Cora up in their face, and the dagger to the back of the brain, and it's Blue Water that have to disengage, so you don't want to fall for any paranoias and breach util that could come their way, but it's just too late. Oasis is left out to dry, and Blue Water have safety, but no time. The drone immediately shot. We'll maybe get a glimpse of the setup, and it's do or die, and all Blue Water do is die, and it's double digits for FlyQuest.
Ends up being good here. Again, very nice stalls coming out from FlyQuest. You saw the cameras being placed a little bit more aggressively, even though it gets shot earlier on. You know you're playing against an anti-eco. So you know you're playing against an eco rather for the side of FlyQuest. So if that camera gets broken up from players shooting very long range at the C site, it gives you time to really set up to play out in the open and to contest here the fights against the pistols. So now you flush them back, you funnel them back towards the A site where the stack is and where the crossfires are, and then Blue Water is not able to get the plant. Now you go back into a more basic setup for FlyQuest, a trip all the way towards the back though, as they're looking for kills through smokes once again.
Really limited time, and a lot of enemies in front. The clone hide the tracks of Kobe as they join the squad and will be on the front lines with a Bucky. Wait, to stop Thea. I can't believe they committed to that. Okay, well, FlyQuest will have to do it without the paranoia, and still plenty left in the back pocket for Ev. Lover will suppress as best as they can. Hunter's Fury, everybody move. Don't want to get team killed. And that FlyQuest just keep staggering in, but this time they have a window and a beautiful ping and a flash to Cora. Finish off what they started. Wait, no. Oasis is locked in. Are you serious?
Great shots once again coming out from Oasis. They're holding it down here and keeping things afloat and close for Blue Water themselves. Already dropping 20 kills within 18 rounds of play. And yeah, it looked questionable if you were looking at Thea's position, but she was stuck in the kill contract there to play against May. So as she wins that against May, she has no choice but to pop out towards that front by the logs. There's 2 players watching her, so she can't really escape. And that's why here FlyQuest couldn't really get that big piece of util to support the recon and the flash. Although they still got great value out of it from both Bob and Ev. It's just, once again, one player stepping up to the plate, being Oasis. Stay alive in the fight. They have another gun round to work with.
I've tried to support Bob there and the teleport out. FlyQuest safe for now. Getting into position, expecting this hit. Now in front, May. Can. Ooh, I like that pressure, like that shot too. Taking care of Ev. That is a boon from FlyQuest that you have removed. A big win con now for Blue Water to keep going.
And that's no fault line and flashes for the Rate 2. That's going to be important now for FlyQuest to be a little bit more active around the map. Hoping here that Cora might try to go for a little bit more of an aggressive angle just to try to narrow down the numbers and give themselves a chance here to fight toe-to-toe.
I remember how this episode went. A different main character, though, with the judge. And, well, B has been broken down. Maybe Thea could go flank with the camera. Sia is still active, so I don't know if Thea will get the heads up. And now they're at range with the judge, which is not gonna help. And Bob and Alubi start to find the gaps. There's cracks in this armor of Blue Water. 2 versus 2. It gets easier, it gets better, and Thea gets close with the judge. It can't deliver the final blow. 13 HP for May clutches.
Becomes a lucky number in the end for May. The range was good enough. They stayed far enough to not get the full damage out from Thea's judge trying to run through. And it looks so good from the way they pivoted both of these players together to try to get those trades. And you're having great players stepping up to the plate when needed be. And that's basically the story of what happened as well for Blue Water against YDZ. Even though it was more of a one-sided affair against YDZ on Haven, there's still, and in favor of Blue Water, of course, there's still moments where you had players that had to really step up to the plate to carry these rounds over for the team to just have dominating wins on their attack side. And you're starting to see here with both May and Oasis. Now also with one falling, but this is an eco for FlyQuest, so
Here.
just hoping to get lucky here with the Sheriffs. Now everybody's going to push one by one and get punished.
Yeah, we're just hoping to be able to stay stable for FlyQuest to just find that lucky headshot. And investing a Hunter's Fury is one thing to try and trip up Blue Water in such a narrow passageway. And there's good damage from FlyQuest, but you need the stopping power. But unfortunately, I don't think FlyQuest can stop. It seems to be inevitable, of course, on the save. Just the one kill. But Blue Water, this will be them tying things up very soon and pushing one of the Game Changers greats to the very edge.
And they will. 10-10 on the scoreline, and now the economy is back though for FlyQuest, and they still have this Rolling Thunder, or they finally had the Rolling Thunder to work with. Although Ev had great opportunities to use it in the previous round, I don't even think we've heard it being rolled out once when they took the attack side. So now it's easier per se to make sure that they're going to leverage the Rolling Thunder here, because you might play a little bit more softer for the side of Ev. Still 15 assists on the board though, doing a great job supporting the team, especially again on their attack side, where Koro is finding immense value on her entries thanks to the util around Bob and Ev. Now this timeout is to try to discuss here to stop Blue Water from taking the lead for the first time in this matchup against FlyQuest. It was a 62 scoreline at some point here for the team of Fly. Now it'll have to boil down to the last rounds of regulation to hopefully get the upset map win against Blue Water's map pick of Haven.
Yeah, Oasis is going beast mode today. 24 and 14. 10 kills more than the next person on their team. And they've been playing duelists from week 3 prior to week 6 and forward. There's been some changes. Usually play the Raze, the ISO, the Yoru, the Clove. They kind of flex to a lot of different things. And eventually settle onto Oasis being a supporting cast. Basically a third duelist if you think about it for this team. And really amping that firepower, which was much needed while missing maybe some critical util. Now we find ourselves our tie game. Last timeout has been expended for FlyQuest. Blue Water still have 1 left. See how they can get to that finish line. It's Blue Water just scaling slowly up towards A, and a quick swing from Bob as they got concussed by something. So they'll have to head back to safety.
Yeah, it was a fault line coming out from Ev. They were just trying to wait here to hear a drone and hopefully go for a Bob swing and try to get a pick, but it was only a drone and nobody following behind it. So still an advantage for Blue Water to work around that map. You're still playing under uncertainties. The drone is also not going to get the info on Kobe being tucked in towards the A site. So you could expect them to be a late lurk if Blue Water is going to finish towards this B site. But they're just prodding for info. That Sova is still towards the back of the spawn with the spike. They're trying to create a diversion, but the thing is that you're pushing back towards the A link where FlyQuest are still at. So if they had to fight within the A site, I mean, they're already there.
Time to jump.
FlyQuest are ready for the pivot. Whether B or A, because around the corner, Ev immediately fires the Rolling Thunder. 1 within the site. Kobe can't be saved, but maybe the round can still be salvaged for less than 30 seconds. The Blue Water feel like they have to commit, and Oasis still has the ult. So they could be the frontline blocker, but instead we'll just go for the regular post-plant setup where Bob will lead that charge, but no recon, no shocks, no nothing. It has to be Ev that shakes things up, tries to crack this post-plant like an egg. It starts with the paranoia from Thea. Here's the flood in. Core always leads with a kill, and Oasis will be back shortly, but no, can't get back to life. And that's a successful retake for FlyQuest.
And I love that. When it came down to the first Rolling Thunder and a recon dart just to delay the plant and also getting a pick through the smoke. As people are getting hit by the Rolling Thunder, they can't break the dart, so sometimes you don't need a flash to do it, and Bob gets a beautiful pick onto Kobe. But then after that, you don't have a recon dart to get the retake engaged here for the team. So you have, and you're waiting for the rotate from Aluvali. She throws the camera up, gets info, the paranoia at the right spot, they start flooding through. The fault line was beautiful to not allow Oasis to get any picks from that spawn. FlyQuest is able to gather around after the timeout, using a Rolling Thunder behind it, as May now has kill contract for round number 22.
FlyQuest just go for some more proactive plays towards A, but the read is wrong, and Blue Water completely changed things up towards C. Now at Garage, you see Luvali wants to get ahead of maybe trying to surprise someone from Blue Water who's extending out, and Luvali will be granted that kill. It is traded. The Blue Water not give away any advantages. Ian's gonna commit now within the site and touches the back of Sia. Oasis back and forth, the trades go, and it's a Hunter's Fury to keep the spike safe, and the final tag on Cora, leaving us with equal numbers. But what else do Blue Water have in the back pocket? The spike is getting defused, and it's protected at the end by Blue Water.
Gotta get lucky on that one for sure. Especially when you have no more pings going into the post plans and you're still playing offside. Of course, it's a Hunter's Fury to try to play off that Elise, but as it doesn't get too much value except for 1 kill, you're still able to keep a person inside the smoke to stick the defuse in. It all came down to a spam game, and they got lucky with it for Blue Water to tie up the game one more time. And now you're gambling here. Money's very low for the side of FlyQuest, and thankfully Cora has Bladestorm to work with, around 3 rifles and a stinger. Meanwhile, still quite healthy for the side of Blue Water. They can buy for the rest of this game of regulation. Those Bladestorms are now downed.
This is the side of Kobe I want to see more, because they were huge on openers. I still will always think about Lotus, and I'll always think about Kobe in that way. Now Blue Water finally can have a round starting on a good foot. It just gets better when you're stomping the ground like this. Kill contract, May versus F. And F is just running towards them, doing what they can with the stinger at range. Now Blue Water have really sealed the deal here.
Oh, Bub was just trying to find a time off the camera. Finally, it just got pinged out. Blue Water are in prime position to be at map point. Comes down to this lurk. Doesn't work out. The buy is going to be abysmal for round number 24 for FlyQuest.
It's tough. I like that Thea just stays really calm in those moments too, but Blue Water starting to find confidence. They're able to lurk around and get so much value from this Yoru too, teleporting around from that to even defense when Kobe was buying ops. Going from C to teleporting who knows where. FlyQuest had to really retrace their steps, and this is the map pick of Blue Water, and FlyQuest have really pushed them to their limits. See how FlyQuest hope to force overtime.
Look what you have to gamble. You have to go half shields for everybody except for Ev as they go for another stinger. But the Outlaw, currently being wielded by Colby, is going to do tremendous work for the side of Blue Water in terms of just locking down the lane. So now you're just confident there's never going to be any pushes coming through. Pulls out a TP so they can start lurking up on the A side and just get individual duels. If they open up the A side, that's a full pivot for sure.
And with how fast that drone from Lever got shot too, you want to, let's say, explore other options that don't involve walking into a potential headshot. Whoa, what an adjustment from Kobe. That was dire. 20 HP. We'll keep the Outlaw. Now Bob hopes to hold back what they can. Reinforcements, paranoia to try and help Bob, and frontal and a fault line, and just the spray through the Hail Mary. Bob takes a big risk, is rewarded with the trade, but Blue Water are alive for now. 20 HP, and Kobe still is delivering what they can, and it's enough for Blue Water, the last person standing. Blue Water take their